So hi guys, you're highly welcome back to my channel once again. So in this tutorial today, I'm going to show you how to do 4 things. So one of the things is this: how to measure for an English trouser. This is going to be a professional way of doing it, or a detailed video on how to measure, how to cut, how to sew, how to iron, and finally how to do the hemming of an English trouser. So guys, stay to the end of this video because you are not going to regret watching this video. There are going to be a lot of things that you are going to learn in this video, especially for beginners. And as for professional, it's going to be an additional knowledge to your own or the one that you have already. So guys, so I'm going to start from the measurement. Measurement is very, very important. Measurement is the key important of any good outfit that you are seeing out there. Like guys, to do the illustration on how to take the measurement, on how to properly take the measurement. Now, I'm going to start with the first measurement, which is going to be the waist measurement. Here is how to take the waist measurement of a pant. So let's assume this is the waist of your client. So the next thing you are going to do, you are going to measure around the waist of your client as shown. In this case, the waist of my client here is 31. Then I'm going to add 1 inch for allowance measurement. Now, some people used to complain that their trouser, their buttock used to tie them, or the hip of their trouser used to tie them very well. Now, one of the cause of that thing is the crotch measurement and also the hip measurement. Here is how to take the perfect hip measurement. You are going to, let's assume this is the hip of your client, or this is your hip. And to measure the hip is very simple. That is where your buttock is, where exactly your buttock is. That is the hip. So now you are going to measure around your buttocks. Then measure around your buttocks the same way you measure around the waist. So in this case, you are not going to add 1 inch to whatever you have here, but you are going to be adding 3 to 4 inch, depends on your preference. 3 to 4 inch to that waist, to that hip measurement. That will give you the total hip measurement for your trouser. Mostly I use 3 inch for my allowance. Now let's talk about the lap measurement. Measurement is very important in the making of a trouser, and here is how to take your perfect lap measurement. Let's assume this is the lap of your client. This is where the crotch is. This is where the crotch is, and this is where the lap is. So you are like measuring the upper part of the lap. It's going to be very close to the crotch. Now when taking the measurement, measure it round like this. Then whatever number you have, you are going to add 3 inch to that number, and that will give you your lap. And if the trouser is for an elderly man, you are going to be adding between 3, 4, and 5 inch, so that there will be a good ease whenever they wear that trouser. Now the next thing I'm going to talk about now is the knee measurement. Let's assume this is the knee of our client, or this is your knee. What you are going to be doing is this: you are going to measure around the knee also. Measure around the knee, whatever you have, you are going to add between 1.5 inch to 2 inch. So that will be enough. And for an elderly man, you can add 3 inch to their knee measurements for allowance purposes. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about now is the ankle measurement. So to take the ankle measurement, I'm going to use this rough iron. Now let's assume this is the back of the legs of your client, or this is the back of your legs, and this is the front of your legs. Now to take the knee measurement, you are going to allow your client to raise up his legs. Then you are going to like raising up, putting your tape under the legs of that your client. Let's assume this place is your ankle bone. Your 2 ankle bone is here. Then your tape is going to pass through the 2 ankle bone to the front of your client's length. That will give you the ankle measurement. This is the method I use most, and it's very, very accurate. You will not regret using this method. So guys, we are done with the taking of the measurement. Now let's go over to the cutting of an English trouser. And if you are yet to subscribe yet, please click the subscribe button down below. And if you derive any value from this video, don't forget to like the video and comment if you have any question, please. So guys, now the measurement I'm going to be working with today, the length of the trouser. I'm going to take it the length of the trouser. It's very simple. You take it from your waist measurement down to wherever your client wants it to be, or your preference. Now the hip measurement of this client of mine here is 35 plus 4. That is 39. Then the thigh measurement here is 20 plus 3. That is 23. And the waist measurement here is 29. I'm going to round it up to 30, but it's fine. And the knee measurement of this my client here is very simple. It's 14.5 plus 2, 14, 15, 16. That will be 16.5. And the ankle measurement here is 6.5. So let's jump right into the cutting. So guys, the first thing you are going to do now is this. on this line here, this is the English here as we call it. So it is the English side, or where it is being weaved. So we are going to hold a line here as shown. Hold a very legible line here. Now we have the line already. Hopefully you can see the line very clearly. I'm done with the line. So now the next thing I'm going to do now is this. So the next thing I'm going to do is this. I'm going to make use of my hip measurement this time around. Make sure that you are with your calculator, because we are going to do a lot of calculation here today. So guys, the hip measurement of my client here is 39, because you are going to start from the hip. And let me tell you this, the waistband of my trouser here is going to be 1.5 inch wide, 1.5 wide. So in this case, the hip we are going to use the hip measurement to determine the crotch line or the thigh line. Now to get the thigh line or the crotch line, you are going to divide your hip by 4. So whatever you have, you are going to measure from here downward. Now in this case, 39 divided by 4, which is equal to 9.7. 9.7. So one is going to be outside, then I'm going to mark 9.7. Then after 9.5, 6, 7. So 9.7 is here. We are going to do the same thing here for accuracy purpose only. Now, so the next thing we are going to do now is to draw your line. So this line here is our crotch line, at the same time our thigh line. This is where our thigh, we are going to measure our thigh. Now the next thing we are going to do now is to apply our thigh measurement. And to apply your thigh measurement is very simple. You are going to start from here, this point here, where you roll a line, or where you draw a line that time. Now in this case, the thigh measurement is 23, and like I said earlier, your thigh is, you are going to divide your thigh by 2. So in this case, 23 divided by 2, that is 11.5. So you are going to measure 11.5 from here. So mark that 11.5. Then you are going to come back, then you are going to mark 2 inch. You are going to mark 2 inch here as shown. So guys, the next thing we are going to do now is the waist measurement. Now in this case, our waist is going to be divided by 2. So now our waist is 29. 29 divided, waist is going to be divided by 4. 29 divided by 4, that is going to be 7.2. 7.2, you are going to add 0.5 to that 7.2, because that half is going to serve as a sewing allowance for the waist. Now I'm going to add plus 0.5. That will give me 7.7. In this case, my waist measurement is going to be 7.7. So now I've already done that. The next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to connect from this point here, from where I marked that to that time, up to this point here. Do the connection like this. So now the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to give this place a nice curve. Give it a nice curve. So I have my curve already. Now the next thing I'm going to do, to done with the waist and the hip and the thigh and everything, you are going to mark down 1 inch, because the front panel of any trouser is always lower than the back panel or back side of the trouser, because of the boot hole. So I'm going to mark 1 inch down, and I'm going to slant it. Make sure you slant it as shown. So guys, I've already done that. The next thing I'm going to be doing now is my zipper, where I'm going to position my zipper. In this case, I'm going to be using 6 inch. Depends on how long the crotch, or it depends on how long this place is. So in this case, I'm going to be using 6. So that is where my zipper point. That is my zipper point. Now I'm going to determine my this thing also, my pocket. So in this case, the pocket, the mouth of my pocket is going to be 7 inch. 7 inch. Yeah, 7.5 rather. So it depends on your client. Now the next thing we are going to do now is how to determine the knee of this client of ours, and also the length of this trouser. Now in this case, in order for us to get the knee, it's very simple. And first of all, we're going to take the measurement. Always make sure that one is outside all your measurement, because that is where the waistband is going to be. So the length of this trouser is 41. So I'm going to mark 41, then I'm going to add 3 inch for the sewing allowance or the hemming allowance. 1, 2, 3. So it's going to be serving as our hemming allowance. Do the same thing on the other side for accuracy purpose, so that if you have something accurate, then we are going to mark it after that. Make sure you draw the line after that. So I've already done that. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing now. To get the knee measurement, it's very simple. You are going to measure from this your crotch line or your thigh line down to the actual length of this trouser. Then half of it plus 2, half of it minus 2 is going to serve as our knee line. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So here's how to do it. Here, from here to here, then half of it. This is the half of it between the tie line or the cross line and the actual length line. So this is the half. Then you are going to add 2 inch. So add 2 inch above the half line. So this point between the half line and the 2 inch you mark is going to be the knee bone. That is where the knee bone is going to be, or the knee cap. So guys, now the next I'm going to draw the line to mark my knee. So guys, you have all your horizontal lines now. So whatever I'm going to do now, this is our cross line on the tie line, this is our knee line, this is our actual length line, and this is the hemming allowance line. So the next thing I'm going to do now, please pay close attention to this point here. Now we are going to come here, measure 1 inch from this point here, from where it was weaved from the company. So we are going to measure 1 inward, measure 1 inch inward. The same measure 1 inch inward on the actual length, but on the knee line you are going to measure half inch inward. Half inch inward. So you are done with this. What you are going to do now, you are going to connect from this knee point up to this your tie line. So here's how to do the connection. So if you are yet to subscribe, don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. And if you have any value, don't forget to give me a like. So guys, the next thing I'm going to do now is to connect all other points. First of all, this point here, connect the actual length and the allowance, and then cover the remaining lines. So guys, we have this already. What I'm going to be doing next is this. It's very simple. I'm going to apply my knee measurement. The knee of this my client is 16.5, so we are going to divide 16.5 by 2. So whatever we have, we are going to apply. In this case, I have 8.2. So that 8.2, I'm going to apply that 8.2 here on my knee measurement. So I have that. So now let me go to the actual length line and the allowance line. So in that place, I'm going to apply my ankle measurement. The ankle measurement here is 6.5. I'm going to apply that 6.5. 6.5. So I have my 6.5 already. So the next thing I'm going to be doing now is to do the joining together. So do the joining. So I've already done all the joining. Cutting from here, from your pocket mount. That's where you're going to start your cutting from. Let me start. Guys, I'm done with the cutting of the front panel of this trouser, and all your cuttings are going to be on the wrong side of the material and not the right side of the material. I'm going to notch this my zipper point here. Give it a good notch. So guys, let's do the cutting of the back panel. You are going to pay a close attention to the back panel because it's somehow tricky. So here's how to do it. Let me draw this one frontward. Yes, so hopefully you can see everything on your screen now. So you are going to do like this. This is the front panel, and you are going to turn it like this. Change the weight of it from this side to the other side. And here, look at what I'm doing now. You are going to bring this trouser very close to this side. Bring it very close as shown. Very close to this side as shown. And yes, look at where the thing is. Look at where this place is, the extension here, or the tie line point. Look at where it is. So the next thing I'm going to do now is this. I'm going to cut along this point here up to this point. Along this is the inseam of the trouser. I'm going to cut along the inseam of the trouser up to that point there. So then after that, I'll show you the next step. So after you've done that, do not throw away any material. This is going to serve as our flap for the front, or for the zipper. It's going to serve as our flap. So guys, the next thing I'm going to do now is very simple. You are going to draw this the front panel of this trouser backward. Draw it backward as shown, and leave 2 inches here, because that 2 inches is going to serve as our sewing allowance. I already have my 2 inches here. can be 2.3, and this point here is going to be 2.5. This place is always bigger than here, so this place here is going to be 2.5 from here to here. Hopefully you are getting what I'm saying, what I'm doing here. So guys, so the next thing I'm going to do now, we are going to draw a chalk like this. We are going to mark it like this. Then the next thing we are going to do now is this point here. Let me bring it a little bit very close to you. This point here, you are going to mark 1.5 from this point outward. Mark 1.5 outward. Yes, this is the 1.5. Then we are going to do another marking that will serve as our sewing allowance. So I'm going to mark 1 inch. So now we now have that. So the next thing we are going to do now is this. Let me arrange the material very well. Now, the next thing I'm going to do now is the rise of the back side of this trouser. The rise of it is going to be 3.5. I normally use 3.5 for the rise of my trouser. And in this case, I'm going to be using that 3.5. So I'm going to mark 3.5 here. This is because the back panel is always higher than the front panel. We all know the reason behind it. It's because of that buttock. So that there will be a good accommodation for the buttock. So now the next thing we're going to do, we are going to connect from this point here up to this place that you mark as shown. So I've already done the marking. Hopefully you can see the marking. So what I'm going to bring it very close to the camera. Let it be at the middle here so that you can see what I'm doing very clearly. Now the next thing we're going to do now is this. It is very simple here. Now we are going to measure from this point here to this point, leaving the English lane outside. I have 8.2. I have 8.2. That 8.2, you are going to remove 1 from this 8.2 because that one is going to serve as our sewing allowance. Let me show you the practical of what I'm talking about. From here to here, half for the sewing allowance. From here to here, half. What are we going to be left with? We are going to be left with 7.2. So that 7.2. Now here is how to do it. You are going to hold that 7.2. Hold that 7.2. Then place it on the back line, the line that you draw like this. This line here is what I'm talking about. You are going to place it on it. And when you are going to place it is where exactly you mark that half at the front. Then you are going to divide your waist, which is the 29 that we have. You are going to divide it by 2 this time around. When you divide your waist by 2, on 29 divided by 2, that is going to be 14.5. Then you are going to mark 14.5. You mark 14.5, then add half inch for that. That half inch is for that. Then you are going to be adding another 1.5 for the back sewing allowance. 1.5 for the back sewing allowance. We have 3 lines here. The first line is the waist, then the second line is for the that, and the third one is for the sewing allowance for the back panel. So guys, the next thing I'm going to do now is the connection of all these lines to this point here. You know, I marked from this front panel backward 1.5 that time. So we are going to connect from this dot line here to that point. Then this one to the back allowance line. So now here is how to do the connection. Hopefully it is legible enough for you to see. I've already done that. So the next thing I'm going to be doing now is from here to here. So guys, so the next thing I'm going to be doing now is give this place a very nice cuff. Give it a nice cuff here. So you are done with the back panel. The next thing we are going to be doing now is the cutting of the back panel. The cutting of the back panel. So that is all for this. You can watch the video again to get what exactly I'm talking about. If you could not get it for the first time, you can rewatch the video. It's fine. So let's do the cutting now. So and let's confirm whether the hip measurement is okay or not. To do the confirmation is very simple. You are going to measure here. This is the tie line. Then slightly above the tie line, measure it. I have 8 inch here. Make sure that there must be half sewing allowance here. Then between that half sewing allowance that we mark, that is it. Then you are going to take this in backward. Then measure it to the back. So our hip measurement is 39, like I said that time. So 39. I have 35 plus 4, 39. So in this case, I'm going to, so 39 divided by 4, that is, divided by 2 this time around, that is 19.5. So look at that 19.5 here. So it simply means that we are very correct with this measurement. So now the next thing I'm going to do now is the cutting of it. And when we are doing the sewing, if you want to sew the hip, you are also going to apply the same measurement to make sure that it is very correct, to avoid anything like tightness or too loose. So let's do the cutting, guys. So guys, we are done with the cutting of the back panel of the trouser. So what I'm going to do now is this. I'm going to mark where the dart is going to be, and for you to get the dart, you are going to measure from this point to this other side 4.5 of an inch. Measure 4.5 of an inch. That is where the dart of this trouser is going to be. So that is where the dart is going to be. So that the next thing I'm going to do now is very simple. And for the mouth or the pocket mouth, we are going to measure from this point backwards, from here to here. Measure 2 inch, and I'm going to notch it, because, and also you are going to here, also here you are going to mark, you are going to give it a notch, like an ½ inch notch. So that is where we are going to sew along, and this is how it's going to be. The pocket of the trouser is going to be, hopefully you can see it, like you can see it. This is how it's going to be. So the next thing I'm going to be doing now is this. I'm going to tell you that make sure you do the marking, so to show you the wrong side and the right side of the material. Where I marked is the wrong side. So now the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to be using my S-tape. I'm going to be using my S-tape to come it here, so that the mouth of the pocket will be a little bit strong. This is the S-tape I'm going to be using. S-tape. If you go to the market, you can get the S-tape. Hopefully you can see the S-tape. This is black S-tape. There is also white S-tape. All right. So when I'm done with that, I'll show you guys.